how much do you need to give birth in Canada? Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I'm Larry Queen. So I'm still on the Giving Birth in Canada series as a non-resident. Okay, so I'm talking about your budget and how much you need to be thinking about or planning to spend in Canada. I don't have exact figures for some things, but it will just guide you. So how much you spend on your trip actually is very individualized. Some people would spend a lot of money because they like a lavish, it's just like a vacation for them. And well, it depends on you. So I'm just going to give you guys like a rough estimation because I can't really say you're going to spend 10,000 Canadian dollars or 15,000 Canadian dollars. Funny enough, you can spend less or more depending on where you stay in Canada and what kind of life you want to be living in Canada. Are you going to be renting a car or taking taxis? Are you living with your family members or you're going to be living alone? So all those things actually are factors that are very variable. All right, but then I can guide you on things that you need to just budget for. To start with, if you're in a country where you have to apply for a visa, because I did apply for a visa from the UK, I paid for my visa. It was actually a very affordable visa application. I think it was less than £100 to apply to visit Canada. I'm Nigerian, so I'm going to be using Nigerian reference sometimes. So from Nigeria, I really don't know how much, but I know it's not expensive to apply for a visa to Canada. All right, so apart from your visa application fee, you had to send your passport back to them when it's successful. So that we paid for. So we paid for sending, I think it was first class Royal Mail to send your passport to the passport office and back. And we also had to visit London for the biometrics. That's one. Then the number two thing like to budget for is air ticket. A return ticket is just sensible only if you want to stay in Canada permanently. Then air ticket, you have to put in an account that you're going to also add the baby later on. Remember again that the date that you put on the ticket might not be the day you're going to be coming back, because a baby can come at 40 weeks, at 38 weeks, at 39 weeks. So you need to also plan ahead, like this baby can come anytime. A lot of things can happen when a baby comes. So some babies, what you can't really tell. We hope for the best, but what if the baby needs like NICU admission or just needs admission in hospital for a couple of days or a couple of weeks to months? So the return ticket might, you might have to change dates later on in future, but you can just hope for the best. So it's better to get like a ticket that is flexible where you can change your dates very easily. So that's number two. I can't really give you exact price for air ticket because the air ticket changes with different seasons and different times. So I can't really tell you this is the amount you should budget for that. Next on my list is accommodation. If you have friends or family members that you're comfortable with, then you can stay with them. But when a baby is coming and you just want to have your own space with your baby. All right, I know that when I traveled to Canada, in a couple of days, first few days before my Airbnb was available, I stayed with my friend, which was a very good experience. She actually didn't want me to leave, but I stayed with my friend, and I had a lot of other friends that wanted me to stay. Like, why are you paying for accommodation? But I just wanted a bit of space because there's going to be a new baby, and I wanted that bonding time. All right, so we paid for an Airbnb we stayed in. So I stayed in like a townhouse. It was like a full house, the 2-bedroom house. If you're the only one going to Canada, you might just need like a 1-bedroom flat or something, or you can just get a condo. At that time, it was over 2,000 Canadian dollars at the time for the length of time that I stayed in. So you need to go on the Airbnb. If you've chosen to use Airbnb, you need to go on the site to check different houses that are near to the hospital, because you don't want to go and get a cheap Airbnb that's like 1 hour away from the hospital you're hoping to have the baby. So you need to go to like somewhere like really near. Even walking distance would not be a bad idea, but my Airbnb was like 15 minutes drive away from the hospital, which wasn't bad. So those are the things that you need to factor in before you choose where to stay. Some people will stay in, you can also stay in hotels depending on how comfortable it is. If your baby has another sibling, because some people take the sibling along, when they're going to deliver, like maybe you have a toddler along. Obviously, no hotel is not going to be comfortable for both of you. So a house will be better where you have your own kitchen to cook and do a lot of things. So it's actually your choice. Then the next on my list is transportation. All right, so you're going to be, transportation is the air ticket, but this is like transportation in Canada. You need to be moving around. You need to buy groceries. If you're living alone, you need to buy groceries, go for your doctor's appointment. So you also need to factor in that you're going to be moving around in Canada. If your driving license allows you to drive in Canada, then it would be really nice to actually do a car rental where you just rent the car and have the car for the time of your stay. If not, Ubers are very available. You can get like taxis everywhere. You can also use the public transportation. So friends and family and then taxis just to move around in Canada wasn't a big problem. Funny enough, I just felt like taxis were actually affordable, quite affordable in Canada. So that helped with like doctor's appointments and just visiting places here and there and buying stuff. All right, so that's for transportation. Then doctor's fee. All right, so the doctor's fee is quite different from the hospital bill. All right, so the doctors have like a monopoly of charges, like charging you. So it's whatever the doctor wants to charge you. So I've read in a couple of places that some doctors charge up to 4,000 Canadian dollars, while some charge as low as 1,000. So depending on the doctor that you find, my doctor charged me almost 3,000 Canadian dollars. I actually paid 2,500, I think. Yeah, but I think you usually would charge 3,000 Canadian dollars to deliver your baby. All right, so the doctor's fee is just is inclusive of the pediatrician fee. And I said before in my previous video that the doctor might not be the one to deliver you because it might not be on call on that day. I think you might have to pay the doctor that was on call on that day. So the bill, whatever he does with it is his business. That's in my experience. I don't know about other doctors or provinces in Canada, but in Toronto, I gave birth, and in that hospital that I use, I'm not mentioning the hospital because this is not like, I'm not advertising the hospital. Sorry guys, if you really need me to give you like particular informations, you can chat me up on Instagram, send me a DM or send an email to me. I would be glad to respond to you. But with this doctor bill, you also need to take into account appointments, because before you deliver, you need to have appointments with the doctors. So he's going to charge you for every appointment. So the doctor charged me 120 Canadian dollars for the first appointment, and subsequent ones he charged me half the price, so $60 for the subsequent doctor's appointments, which was, I think, fair enough. You also need to budget for like tests and scans. You most likely have done scans from your country or you've done scans from home previously, but they would need like newer scans and blood tests and maybe a vaginal swab if you haven't done one. So I really don't know how much the scan cost because I didn't do a scan. I delivered before the date of the scan. I didn't even do blood work, but from what I've read, I think the blood work is like 20 Canadian dollars to 35 Canadian dollars, just like small amounts of monies. Moving on to hospital bill.